6mm gun, so only a millimetre in size of the whole of the barrel, but that higher velocity, longer gun had much more punch behind it.
It was a dual-purpose gun, which had an armour piercing capability and an ability to fire high explosives, which is something we've been begging for and hadn't got at the time. All our tanks fired solid shot only, so a tank that could fire both high explosive for dealing with anti-tank guns or a reasonable armour piercing performance was very welcome indeed. And that's what singled the Sherman out and made it a great favourite with British crews. We tended, for some reason, the Americans tended to keep the one with the Ford V8 in it. Everybody used the version with the radial engine in, but this particular one has actually got twin General Motors diesels. But there was another version which had 5 6-cylinder Chrysler engines in it, all clustered around one crankcase. And it was known as the Chrysler Multivan. So it was in fact a 30-cylinder engine. You actually had to lift the engine up and change the clutch. But it was a very popular engine in the British Army, I think probably because we had nothing else.
This particular tank is privately owned. It was also seen in the Fury movie as Lucy Sue. It had an interesting history because this tank almost certainly went to North Africa in British Army service back in it was built in 42. It then came back to the UK to be converted into a BARV, one of those beach armoured recovery vehicles for the D-Day landings. It ended up in Pound's scrapyard, went over to Jersey, and then it was actually restored as a gun tank. So it's had quite a checkered history, but privately owned and beautifully presented. Now this next Sherman, this one's an M4A1 Sherman, built in 1943 at the Lever Automotive Works. Again, another 75mm gun tank, and you can see this one's got the cast hull. So this casting is opposed to a welded hull of the other two tanks.
All these Shermans, earlier on, had the vertical volume spring suspension. The Americans went for a bolt-on suspension, and one of the great advantages of that is if it hits a mine, you only normally have to replace one suspension unit, not the whole thing. The whole tank doesn't collapse. They're very simple, very ruggedly made, and built in huge numbers. The Sherman was the most effective AFB in many respects, and lasted well into the post-war period. But it really owes its fame to the Second World War. It was probably outclassed by some of the more powerful German tanks, but it was available in such numbers that didn't really matter.
It's finally going up. It's finally going down.
This particular Sherman was rebuilt, well, it was originally built in 43, it's rebuilt in 44, and you can see on the sides in 44 they added this extra armour. They welded it on the sides at vulnerable points where ammunition was stowed. One of the issues we all know about Shermans, they were nicknamed Ronsons or Tommy Cookers because they blew up so quickly. It was actually the ammunition, not the petrol, that caught on fire. So by the late war they started making Shermans with something called wet stowage. So the ammunition was actually contained within a liquid as a storage system. So if a hot spark got through, with any luck, the water surrounding the ammunition would put that spark out or dampen it down so it didn't cause the fires. And statistically it seemed to work. If you were hit in a Sherman that had wet stowage, not that it was much comfort to the crew, but you tended to lose less crew members in action than if you were in a normal, traditionally stowed Sherman tank. Now today we've actually got on the bank bay in front of the museum a number of veterans there, a number of which I know actually served in Shermans in the Second World War, so quite an emotional moment I imagine for some of the chaps down there.
I should have added before, the M4A1 is powered by a 9-cylinder radial engine, again a vertical engine. And the other thing to note about it, which is typical of most of the tanks in US service, have an extra machine gun on top of the top. The general idea is the gun is shooting down aeroplanes. The difference because the most told to go away. But the Americans preferred shooting at it, so they got a 50 caliber Browning on top. So you find there's a machine gun in the front of the hull, which is known as the lap gun, which is operated by a man sitting to the right of the driver, to the tank's left-hand drive. The second machine gun is coaxial with the main armament, and then the third one possibly on top of the tank.
So we're just positioning those Shermans because they'll be taking part in our battle shortly, and they need to be in a slightly distant position from where all the other vehicles are coming from. Now, with any luck, we've had the good news, our Spitfire is on its way, so we'll carry on with the display, but if we have to interrupt with the Spitfire coming over, we'll hand over to Simon so we can actually watch and hear some commentary on the Spitfire, but we do know it's on our way. Now these three Shermans, as we mentioned, were all used in the war movie Fury. The producers approached the Tank Museum a couple of years ago now when they were doing their research, and whatever you think about the movie, they certainly had some good kit in it, including famously our Tiger tank, which we'll be able to see in just a moment.